Dr. Lana Austin attends to a patient at Mugabe Children's Hospital. A 6-year-old patient whom we chose to call Biona is malnourished and weighs a paltry 9 kilograms. Next to her in the ward is Tanisha, who is 1 year 8 months and weighs 8.4 kilograms. Tanisha is also malnourished, and a self-employed mother started to notice signs of malnutrition 3 months ago.
So the moment I chaya mwana ndango because certain sugar chitase nichipa mwana na ukasika kuenda uchipatara ngoti since certain sugar chinzi tinofana kupa vana kana itase vachichaya so ndaingopa mwana certain sugar chipa certain sugar zvakatora time mwana achingochaya ipa ndakazona mwana akutanga kuzvimba makumbo mwana abva aita kunge munhu akatsva usiku kuita zvimadzvanga.
Malnutrition, kwashiorkor, wasting, marasmus, whichever way you'd like to put it, is a symptom of dietary insufficiency and affects children between the age of 1 to 5 years more often than other key populations.
Malnutrition is very prevalent in our country, sadly, and what is malnutrition is when you're not getting enough calories. And that can come for several reasons. You might not be getting enough in because you're lacking food, or your body might be not able to utilize them well, or you might be losing extra calories through things like diarrhea and vomiting, for example.
Malnourished children often have limited appetite, low energy levels, lose weight, and a faltering growth. If untreated or unchecked in children early, mental development staggers, and this causes an infinity cycle of malnutrition.
Nutrition is mostly prevalent in children. And in children under 5, this is the time when the body is developing the most and the brain develops the most in the first 2 years of life. So if we leave malnutrition unchecked, then we find that mental development is inhibited and also growth is inhibited. So you find that a child who has suffered from malnutrition may perform poorly in school, and because they perform poorly in school, they find it hard to find employment and jobs. And when they find it hard to find employment and jobs, they fall into poverty. And poverty is one of the biggest factors that cause malnutrition again. So then they are malnourished as adults. They experience stunting where they never manage to achieve their full growth, their full potential of growth. And they also, if they are women in their childbearing age, are at risk of giving birth to stunted babies as well, or low birth weight babies. So we get into a cycle of malnourished people giving birth to malnourished children.
The climate crisis is at the center of this catastrophe, affecting food quality and availability as the increase in reported cases.
Malnutrition is often a seasonal disease. We know when there's a good harvest, we see the rates of malnutrition coming down, and where there's a dry season or we had a bad drought year, we know that malnutrition rates are going up, particularly true for moderate malnutrition. It has a seasonal pattern. So in that respect, yes, we are affected by the farming and how good of a harvest we had in that year. And I already talked about other events such as cyclones or other natural disasters. Obviously, that creates an emergency situation which also predisposes our children to malnutrition as well.
And with climate change, we are beginning to see that lean seasons or seasons where foods that were available abundantly, naturally, are no longer available. And there are longer periods where people cannot access the amount or the quality of foods that they have. Here in Zimbabwe, for example, we have a dry and a rainy season. Our dry season starts from the end of May, or rather the beginning of May, and can extend as far as November, the end of November. That's a long time for a person to not be able to grow vegetables because climate change has made it that they can no longer, or deforestation has made it that the soils are no longer rich and they can no longer provide adequate nutrition. Whatever is being grown is actually insufficient in terms of the nutrition that is being in the crop.
Globally, over 150 million children under the age of 5 are stunted, plus 47 million are severely worsted. Over 30 million are overweighing. In Zimbabwe, 2022 alone, over 15,000 children were treated for severe wasting, and the developing number still goes unrecorded. What should be done to address food unavailability that's being perpetrated by the climate crisis?
A multifactorial approach. I think it starts from policy. If policy can make it so that there is a forecast of a population's needs and desires or lack of nutrition, then policy can address what can be farmed in the next coming seasons. Agriculture can come in and research can come in to say, let's fortify our foods because our foods need fortification. And so we can grow grains that are fortified. And in that way, biofortification helps us, the biochemistry helps us. Agriculture grows the things that we actually need. For example, Zimbabwe is a very good producer of carbohydrate containing foods, but we need more fatty foods like sunflower oil, and we need more proteinous vegetables like nuts and legumes. And if we could work together, even with the nutrition units, to be able to assess and to spot where is the lack, where can we fit in, how can we focus this. It doesn't all happen at once, but in a process, one could put it over a 24-month cycle. You could start to see changes because there is better interdepartmental communication.
In collaboration with other international partners, the Zimbabwean government has rolled out a seed biofortification program to produce agricultural products that are highly nutritious to try and deal with the prevailing challenges.
Coming in of biofortification is yet another intervention in addition to the supplementation, micronutrient supplementation, in addition to the household food fortification, using micronutrient powders, in addition to the industrial food fortification.
Leaders across the world are all vested with the risk that the climate crisis poses to the world.
Keeping the rise in global temperatures to 1.5 degrees Celsius will not be easy.
Desperate times calling for desperate measures.